What are your thoughts on it?
Look, Sir Bobby Charlton has been maybe one of the biggest, if not the biggest, legend in United history. So it's a very sad day that he's gone. At the same time, he's lived a long life, and so I think it's time to celebrate and really sort of come together and think about what he's done for the club, and you know, even with the car crash, with the flight that crashed and all that incredible history, come into unity together and be together sharing his memories.
I was going to ask about his legacy and feeling around Manchester United fans today.
Well, he was the greatest, wasn't he? You know, he was the original star player who could do everything. Perfect physique, speed, shooting ability, team man, everything about him. He was also a humble northeasterner, you know, Geordie. So he fitted in well at the time of Matt Busby's era, and went through Munich and just returned as if he'd never been away, and scored goals, and just a superb player, the best ever.
It's a very sad day for Manchester United, but massive in England.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think there's ever been a player quite like him. You know, he was just so exceptional in every way. You just give him the ball 30 yards out and he'd score with either his left or his right foot. He was just so brilliant. He won the World Cup for us in '66. So, you know, we've only ever won the Cup once, and Bobby was the man who won it for us. Every game it seemed to be England 1, the other opposition 0, and Bobby would score the goal. You know, it was just, that was how good he was.
And do you have any memories of him or fans today?
Oh, it's the passing of an age, isn't it? It's somebody who's stood for all the good things about football. Sad contrast with today's crew.
Yeah, definitely.
And their values and standards.
What's the sort of leave?
I think he's a beacon. He's a bastion for values, football, gentlemanliness, manners, attitude, everything, and it doesn't happen, won't happen anymore, ever.
Around the fans.
Well, just from my own point of view, he was a true gentleman. I started playing football in the mid-60s and came up to Old Trafford on holiday from the Peak District, saw this marvellous stadium, and Bobby Charlton's such a gentleman, and I tried to follow his example throughout the way I played football and, well, general life in general.
And I've spoken to a lot of people, English football and in global football, what do you think the feeling is?
I think people hopefully will come together and play the game as he played it. He didn't pull anyone's shirt, he didn't dive, he was honest, and he was an extremely good loser. In fact, he'd do well in the United team now. We seem to be quite good at that.
Where do you think you're ranking, but the world?
I think generally, if there were more Bobby Charltons in the world, there'd be less problems in the world. I think we'd all get along much better.
Footballers.
I think that's a good question, actually, but to me, I mean, well, I should hope to any United fan, it's like it's at top, you know, because so many goals that he scored. I mean, he could hit ball right foot, left foot, you know, no problem. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And just finally, what do you think his legacy of United fans today? What's the feeling around the club today?
Well, very much so. You know, Bobby was such a fantastic player over such a long period, and I was lucky enough to have seen him play on many occasions. All my working life was spent in London, and I used to go to West Ham frequently, and he'd play for United against West Ham, and of course I saw him play for England as well. But he was a fantastic player over a very long period, and he's held in the highest regard by all true football fans. And I think I'd go as far to say that without Bobby Charlton, England probably would not have won the World Cup in 1966. He was that important to the England team.
You talk about England there. He was such an English icon as well as a Manchester United icon, wasn't he?
Yeah, very much so. Bobby Charlton and Bobby Moore, for me, are the two greatest English players. And I was very fortunate to see him play quite often.
What are your favourite memories of him as a player and as a person? Because I've spoken to a lot of people today, and they always mention how much of a gentleman he was.
Yeah, I never had the good fortune to actually meet and talk to him, but I've known a few people that have, and they're all of the exactly the same opinion, that he was a smashing lad of great integrity, and his football did all his talking. He was tremendous.
You mentioned him and Bobby Moore there. Where do you think the fans today?
Well, it's 3 weeks now since we first found out. It's a really sad day. It's the end of probably one of the greatest eras that Manchester United will have experienced. But I'm a great believer that you've always got to extract a positive from a negative, and I'm just hoping that everything that's gone on within the club for particularly the last year, with ownership issues, today is a signal and the dawning of a new era for us. So, and it'd be a great way to start that with celebrating Sir Bobby and what he's given to the club today.
And Sir Bobby was obviously a massive figure at Manchester United in the England squad that won the World Cup.
Massive import. I mean, it wasn't ironically, it wasn't just as a player. Yeah, you're right, he was huge to Manchester United. He was probably the greatest ambassador that the club will ever have, and I can't see it in my lifetime ever being surpassed. Like you say, there was also the World Cup in '66, which was great celebration for his life. It's funny that not funny, but it's ironic that his greatest triumphs were kind of overshadowed by what he went through at Munich. But yeah, his legacy will live on forever. Younger people that are going to come and watch United, you've only got to walk down the Munich tunnel, speak to some of the older fans, and Sir Bobby's name will always be one that resonates and keeps the red flag flying high.
Definitely. What are your favourite memories of him till the legacy?
We've got to create the legacy now. It's after today, isn't it? It's get today out the way and celebrate his life. And then United need to look forward, and they need to look at what's been going wrong over the last couple of years and turn the club around. And, hopefully Sir Bobby will be looking down from on high and giving his seal of approval to that.
Amongst England's all-time best players.
Against England, I'd put him number one without a doubt. People talk about Moore and Hurst and so on, from the World Cup, and Beckham and Rooney and so on. But no, I'd definitely put Bobby as top.
And just finally, what do you think is kind of sadness or more celebration of his life?
I think it's a bit of both, really. For me, it's sadness personally, but yeah, I think we're remembering our legend, really. Mine for over 60 years, actually. My hero, anyway.
Yeah, it was obviously a sad day for English football as well, because he was as much an England icon as well as a Manchester United icon, wasn't he?
I would agree with that. I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I think he's the greatest ever English footballer. I know others would say possibly Moore and Banks, but Bobby, I saw him so much in the 60s, so yeah, for me he was just the greatest. He really was.
And what are some of do you have any favourite? He was a gentleman, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I met him once when I got his autograph. Everybody who I've spoken to, says exactly that. And he did so much outside of the game as well, with the landmine issues and everything like that. So, yeah, we've lost a real hero today,
And just finally, what do you think